Welcome to A Little Less Stupid. Songs and stories to be dumb, less, and smart, more. Today, we're going to be a little less stupid on what the women want. What do they really want? Why would they go on a date with a lad like me? So I remember walking in and getting seated at my wife and I's favorite pasta serving establishment in downtown Leesburg. And they have these high brick walls, and I get unreasonably happy when there's a real candle on the table. And so as we got seated, ordered each a wine, ordered a white and red wine flight and some happy hour tater tots just in case we got hangry. And we settled into our oak chairs and slowly were able to let kids be with grandma and jobs be in Jobland, and we were able to say, how are you doing? And as our wine came out and we took a little sip of Pinot Noir, my wife asked, what have you been listening to while you're painting? And I said, I was listening to this podcast about what women want. And she said, tell me more. And I was like, well, apparently you want 3 things. And the 3 things are: 1, an ability to acquire resources now or in the future. 2, you want someone who's kind, someone who is actually kind and is able to show that objectively. And the 3rd thing is intellect, and not just smart, but also able to find humor and able to find the twist in things and smart with people. And so those are 3 things. And my wife said, that's interesting. And I was like, what's interesting? She's like, well, I'd say it was just 1 thing. And I was like, well, what was the thing for you? And I reminded my wife, I was like, you were really, really difficult to pursue. Didn't give me any signals that you were interested until about a month in. And she's like, yeah, I didn't think your faith was important to you. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, I first thought you were kind of gay. I was like, what? And she's like, you seemed not that interested in the girls you were with, and you were wearing really, really, really tight pants and a embroidered floral shirt, and your faith just didn't seem important to you. And so I thought you were a gay. And I was like, so you thought I was a gay pirate in Seattle? And she's like, well, you said it. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, what changed? What did you notice that made you do a full 180 turn? And she said, well, I set you up with my friend and coworker because I thought, well, Josh is fun and kind of interesting. He should find somebody he'd get along with my friend. And so I set you up with my friend, and I was surprised, my wife said, that you asked why would I go on a date with this person. And I told my wife, I was just so tired of going on dates. I'd gone on around 100 dates at this point, all through my 20s. And this is without any online dating. I was just tired of trying to go on the dates and ask the questions and put myself on the table. And then also it was difficult to tell a girl if you weren't interested. It was just hard to do that. And it was hard to be interested and then her just cut ties or ghost you. And I asked her, why should I go on a date with this friend of yours? And she said, well, she's so loving and so caring and works super hard, and everyone speaks so highly of her. And it made me think of Proverbs 31 in the Bible, a wife of noble character. And I said, well, a wife of noble character, let's do this thing. Beam me up, Scotty. And my wife didn't know that was important to me. And so as she said, whenever I asked my friend how the date went, my friend said, well, our values didn't really align at all, even though we talked for 4 hours and it was really fun. And the values aligning is really important to me. And so it wouldn't work out. And then in that moment, my wife said, I thought, oh, I didn't realize he wasn't, she didn't say this, but she didn't realize I wasn't a gay pirate. Maybe a pirate, but at least not gay. And she said, I noticed that was important to you, and I became at least a little bit curious. And I was like, well, why is like faith the most important? Like, it sounds kind of corny, just like, oh, he was a Christian, and so I it's just, and I was like, well, I knew, my wife said, I knew if your faith was sincere, it would affect all areas of your life. And in my head, I was like, I don't even know if my faith is sincere sometimes. How did you know, going on dates from then on, that my faith was sincere? And she said, well, I saw you were growing. And I saw you were getting better. And you weren't blaming other people for your problems. And I was like, cool. You saw that? And my wife asked, like, why did you stick it out with me? And I told my wife, well, I saw you and I knew I had to be better. And kind of like in like a great coming of age story or just Disney movie, you see like this like peasant who sees the princess and he's like, I have to be better for this person. And obviously really attractive lady, but like inside and out attractive. And I felt this like thing turn on inside me. And I knew, I was like, man, if I'm like, a good prince is someone who can like stare death in the face. And this monster that's inside, I would say all men, you can take that monster and, at least for me, bring it before God and be like, take this monster and like make something good out of it. And make me someone who can like be a force for goodness in this world and not a force for chaos and evil. And I think I've at least noticed women, like great, like princess status women, want a soldier and someone they can stand beside and someone who can stare death in the eyes. And not that he's like reached general status, but like someone who's a soldier and is deciding every day, I'm going to be more and more like a soldier. And this song's called Soldier. She wants someone who knows there's a monster inside him. Someone who says, God forgive who I have been. Make this monster someone who does good. Make me a soldier. Been too scared to die. Make me a soldier. Someone she could stand beside. I'd love to hold her. She could bring me back to life. Make me a soldier. Make me a soldier. Who is that woman that looks like the sunrise? Could she be my lighthouse after fighting long nights? Make this monster someone who does good. Make me a soldier. Been too scared to die. Make me a soldier. Someone she could stand beside. I'd love to hold her. She could bring me back to life. Make me a soldier. Make me a soldier. She sees who I'm becoming. My monster heart is drumming. I'm gonna be your soldier. She sees who I'm becoming. My monster heart is drumming. I'm gonna be your soldier. Make me a soldier. Been too scared to die. Make me a soldier. Someone she could stand beside. I'd love to hold her. She could bring me back to life. Make me a soldier. Make me a soldier. Thank you for joining me on this journey to be a little less stupid. It's cool to hear from people. Oh, I saw your podcast and like new podcasts you should listen to. And so thank you for those who have been leaving 5-star reviews and comments. Please let me know in the comments if there's something you would like to be a little less stupid in. And besides that, text it to a friend. It's so nice if you get a text from an old friend, hey, like, I was listening to this and I thought of you. And so text this to a friend, say, hope you're doing well. Saw this new podcast. It was spicy. And thank you again for your time. And we'll see you next week on A Little Less Stupid. I'd like to hold